Oh, cool.
Oh,
Go here. Where's Danny? That's right up his alley. He could probably tell him where the ghosts are. Oh, here we go. We got a caller.
oh, we'll pause that for a second. Well, he's figuring that out. What about, you said something about, we're calling somebody.
Okay. Well,
Take two. I have me. Do you have you?
Hi. Welcome to the Good Cronies.
Oh, you guys are so excited.
Who do I have on the line?
Oh, my name is Darren, so I am the professor on my show. It's always an adventure. So Anthony and I had our interesting shoot yesterday over in, I don't even know where we were.
Darren.
Hi, Darren.
Yeah, hello.
And do you have a podcast going as well?
Yeah, I figured I might as well record this and do the same.
Doing 2 podcasts at once?
Yep.
Awesome. And where are you located, Darren?
In Lavelle, about 15, 20 minutes on the other side of Wisconsin Dells.
Oh,
Wow. Awesome. Thank
Do
you.
you have other people on your podcast as well, Darren?
Not today. Today's just me.
Okay, awesome.
Sweet. Well, now you got one of us.
I want to give some, this is Kathy speaking. So, Darren, I want to give some history on you and Anthony. Can I?
Uh-oh.
Sure, absolutely.
How long have you and Anthony been friends?
Oh, it's got to be close to 15, 20 years.
Yeah, I want to say about the same thing. So, how did you and Anthony meet?
If I recall, I was doing a shoot, and we're looking for a cinematographer, and I think it was one of those things where it probably had a Craigslist ad back in the day.
I want to agree.
And I think that first film was, I think it was Unlucky Winners, because I think Whatever It Takes, I think was the second one that we did.
Wasn't it something about, you guys were doing something with that Stevens Point guy?
Michael Dietert, I think his name was.
Yeah, and,
Well, he's not dead.
right. And his story was about what?
You mean Michael?
Yeah.
At the time, I think he was managing the Goodwill, which was right next to the Pick and Save on the south side of Fond du Lac. And yeah, he ended up being one of our rednecks, which worked out pretty good because I think that was the Unlucky Winners. And he actually had it was 4 polo shirts that had come into the Goodwill, and it said Unlucky Winners. I'm like, oh my God, it's meant to be. So we bought all of those. And then to piggyback with him, I think we hooked up with Craig, a stand-up comic out of the Green Bay area. So the two of those ended up being our bad redneck guys.
And you guys did several, films, correct? You did, several mini films, and, are you guys...
Well, I'm actually in awe. I gotta actually close my mouth. Okay. Sorry, dude. This was Angel. Yes.
You want to guys introduce
Now,
yourself?
Tony, you said something about
Ghosts?
Yep, ask a question, ghost. He's ghost.
You are a actual ghost hunter.
A paranormal investigator.
Oh shit! You did wonderful fill in my freaking house.
Do you know the girl from New London? And if you say her name, I'll remember, and I can say, yep, that's her. But she used to work with me at Presto several years ago, but she's real into the paranormal. And there's a whole group out of New London, Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the New London one. I know another friend, Craig, out of Fond du Lac. He's got the Fox Valley Ghost Hunters, and we did some work with him down in Tupelo, Mississippi, a haunted Civil War battlefield. And that was kind of interesting because we actually met a group that met us down there. So we had our side of it doing the paranormal investigation. And then these guys were all retired police officers that were also Civil War metal detectorists. So they would scan these old battlefields looking for bullets or knives or swords or just about anything. So they had some pretty good pictures of some of the stuff they'd found over the years. And, they were actually, after a while, more entertained with what we were doing than with what they were doing. So it was a fun couple days down there.
So do you actually go into homes?
Oh yeah, that's what we did the last couple of days. We just got back, just about two and a half hours ago. So we spent the night shooting over in. Hey, Anthony, what town were we in?
Ortonville.
Ortonville. Oh, my
Oh,
God. Yeah, the town with no welcome to wherever you're here sign, like really past the Ortonville Fire Department. And yeah, I remember a little bit about the town. I had a friend that lived in Greenville and, lots of friends.
that's my old stomping ground.
Appleton.
I-
Yeah, it's really.
I'm Lori. I just moved from Greenville a year and a half ago, and I rented a house in Greenville for a while.
Oh, okay.
Funny story about Darren is that he tried to fix, was it the transmission on our van, and he lost the wrench.
Oh, you did.
Oh, he did the wrench in the van. Didn't you try to? What did you try to fix on our van? It was the first time I met you. You came to the house.
I don't remember.
Jeez. Darren's been a good family friend of ours. Well, we mainly have Anthony's, and he's just been good to us.
He'd probably run if he came into my house.
I'm always fixing something.
Well, there's ghosts.
Yeah, I swear to God, there are ghosts
About Darren.
in my house. And Laura, Kathy, I actually do have paranormal stuff going on in my house.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
I've had, not exorcists, what are they called? They're kind of like you. They came in and tried to take the evil out. But these guys...
Just cleansing and saging the house and stuff like that.
Yes, I've got so much sage going on around my house that I feel like I am part of a sage. Seriously.
Well, you have to do it properly.
Around the windows and around the doors.
The door, and then there's lots of I guess different thoughts on the best process to eliminate the spirits or the entities. But the biggest thing is always giving them a way out. So this house that we did over in Hortonville yesterday, apparently there was more activity usually in the basement, but we were getting more activity on the first floor and the second floor. So then Dylan, one of the people that had grown up in that house, said it's like it had shifted. So that, if there's nothing in the basement, that's where you would start doing your cleansing. There's a whole process you go through. I've got stuff down in Latin. I'm an ordained minister, so we do the prayers and stuff like that. So you've got the sage and the bells. You just kind of drive it through here, drive it to the first floor. And if it's last on the second floor, you drive it up there, leave a window open. And, the process is, you can push the entity through that opening. Then you seal that. And you've got crosses and stuff that you put on the different floors to kind of bind it and, keep it out.
Okay, my question is, how much does that cost?
Oh, well, everything can be negotiated. I don't want to put anything online. A lot of these things we do, just for, I guess, the promotional side of things. But after a while, you got to pay the bills.
Right.
So we could come up with something.
Okay. Yeah,
A promotional fee.
Yeah, because my brother, Carl, he does Native American. And after my mom passed away, he came into the house when she passed. He saged it immediately. And then it's like, 2 days later? I believe it's 2 days later, he had to come back into the home and sage it again and make sure all doors and windows were shut, or else she would come back to the home. Have you heard of anything like that?
Well, if it's in the house, you sage a completely sealed house, it's kind of like doing it in a vacuum. It has no place out. There's no exit. So you have to give the entity or the spirit, whether it's, kind or evil or whatever, a way out. Once you get it out, you banish it. So then you seal that last little spot, and you do your, if it's Native American, you do an incantation or a chant or a prayer. And then you place a cross. Then you seal that last spot. So once again, you got to sage that spot closed.
Yeah, I think that's what he
with the
did.
process.
I think he actually had one of the windows open and then went through the whole home and then pushed everything that way.
Okay.
Yeah, because a lot of people, when they do that, they want you out of the home. And I actually want Danny in the home so you can take the entities from him. Because, these guys can tell you, he can sit there and talk to ghosts. And, my son has Down syndrome and autism, but he'll sit there and be having a conversation with my mom and dad.
There's a
who have passed away. But those aren't the ones that bother me. It's the ones that actually piss him off and make him angry, and he'll literally grab the wall. And
There's a particular
make him move. Yeah, there's like a little boy in the house that is
There's
just,
a particular wall in Angel's house that when those spirits, I'm going to call them, are present,
they piss him off.
it makes him very uneasy.
Yeah.
His mood change will switch from good to,
Let's get out of here. Real fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's actually scared.
Yeah, and yeah. You can actually see when a really bad one comes, because his facial expression is just like he wants me to get them out, and I tell him he has to kick them out because I don't need him to come back and kick my butt. Yeah, it is pretty scary. My mom and dad's house, but I've taken care of a lot of people at the end of their lives, so
Not at that location.
yes, at that location.
Oh, at that location. Okay.
Yes. I've had two of my grandmothers pass away in the home. My mom, my dad, my aunt, and two of my aunts. That, these guys don't like it when I say it, but I call myself the angel of death, because they come to me at the end because they don't want to get put in a home or, something like that. So there is a lot of spiritual stuff in that home, unfortunately.
And then a lot of times we also bring along the equipment where we can, try to get words back and forth.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Couple different devices do that. One just does a sweep of radio stations, so if it finds the correct word, that helps. In other words, an obelisk where there's like a dictionary, theoretically you can pull a word from that. But a lot of times, Kim, who's the sensitive, my wife, part of this group, she'll get a name. And we got no names yesterday at the house in Hortonville, but a couple days ago when we were down in Florida, we had two names on the Appalachian Cemetery, Lisa and Ralph, and they appeared twice. So the same names pop up twice. So, if you think of the concept of the radio station, just scanning stuff back and forth real fast to come up with those same two names that close together, it's pretty random. It's kind of like winning Powerball.
Right.
So, there's something to it.
Yeah, because Denny, he'll tell you that he talks to Grandma, Grandpa, Travis. Travis is my nephew that committed. He hung himself when he was 17. He talks to a little boy that, I don't know who the little boy is, because we've not had any little boys in the family pass away. So, and this one really makes him angry. Loves to make him angry.
Prior owner of the house, possibly?
It could have been my aunt, yes. It's only been two, my aunt that owned it, and then my mom bought it from my aunt, and then me. It was handed down to us.
Okay.
So it's been in the family. The house has been in the family. My uncle built it. So, yeah, she could have lost a child there.
Yeah, always interesting stuff. Sometimes you look at the history prior to that, was there, something else that was built in that location beforehand, or, what was there before there were any houses, and you just don't know. Now, like you mentioned, you cleansed the house and a couple days later had to do it again.
Yes.
Sometimes an object can get brought back in and something was attached to that, or, just by opening the door, if the entities, and weight, outside, could attach itself to something that just brought itself back in willingly.
Well, I think they do. These guys can tell you.
Yeah. There's something.
Definitely something in that house.
There's something.
I don't mind the good ones. It's the bad ones that need to leave.
And I leave right.
A couple of the house yesterday were not so nice. Normally they're pretty kind. They just want to, communicate, do their little funny things, move little objects around. Casey was talking about an orange that was rolling by itself. It rolled up onto a spoon at a flat table. It's like, a little crystal was hanging from a chandelier, a little ceiling fan, and, it started wiggling. And then some bells on a door, not hard enough to ring the bells, but just enough to wiggle the strand that the bells were on. It's like, So you start looking for, the obvious mechanical types of things. There's near a register or duct or a vent or, did a fan turn on or something, and, everything goes off in the house. Something easy is usually just toilet paper. If it blows real easy, you can see if something's, moving on the floor or current or something like that. But, when it's dead and calm and something else starts to move, it's like,
So then do you believe that the animals can see them too?
Everything sees things differently, different spectrums as far as what they can see. As far as dogs, definitely, different range of hearing. That's for sure. Especially if you think about dog whistles, you can't hear it, but the dog hears it. Same thing like we talk about our full spectrum cameras. And really all that is it's removing the filters off of the sensor for these cameras. Because when the cameras are built, they want to have a pleasing picture. So usually there's like a couple pieces of glass or filters on top of the sensor before that lens. So a little yellow and a little red that gives you kind of a warmer color. Well, it also narrows the range of what the camera sensor can see. So if you disassemble a camera, take those pieces off, all of a sudden you got a camera that can see stuff that our eyes can't see. Now same thing. Can an animal see something we can't see or something else? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, because all of a sudden my cats will be just Elvis, for one. She'll be just laying there, minding her own business, and then all of a sudden she will just literally jump from a laying position and just turn around and look behind her. And I'm like, what are you looking at? Nobody's even by you. I know cats do that, but it's like there was nothing even by you this time. And then we just put it off to, okay, let's see the grandma or grandpa or, somebody in the house.
They call it animal instinct for a reason, self-preservation, protection, all that. So something's there.
Wow.
That's amazing.
It's really cool that you do that. It really is.
So how long have you been doing this, Darren?
As far as the paranormal side of it, I'd say just a couple of years now. As far as the film stuff, probably 35 years. As far as seeing weird things, going on 60 years, I would say.
Wow.
Have you ever been to the Paulding Light?
What's that?
Have you ever been to the Paulding Light?
No, what's that?
Minnesota or Michigan? Michigan. It's up in Michigan. It's a light that's in the middle of a field. Huh?
A little bit louder.
It's in Michigan. It's about 45 miles from my grandparents' cabin. And it's a light that they can't explain. And it is real. It scared me. Everybody else was out watching for it. Well, I saw it. And I jumped in my car, and there's a lady in a white dress.
Yeah, that one's been around for a long time.
So you've heard of it.
I heard the stories, and I heard the stories in multiple locations. Actually, in my hometown, Stevens Point, there's a Jordan Park, and the same story about the bride in white, died, whatever, on the way to a wedding or after the wedding. Different versions of the story. And all of a sudden, you're driving through that area, and you see a woman standing on the side of the road in a white dress. It's like, don't stop.
Right? Yeah, don't stop. No, I heard about that one. I really did. And you're right. Don't stop. Don't stop and investigate. Keep going.
Yeah, the Good Samaritan being helpful, it only goes so far.
Yeah, exactly. You can tell that it's not real. I mean, it's real, but it's not real. Your mind is just going crazy.
Yeah, bingo. And I'm not a sensitive or a medium or anything like that. I just look at what I can see through the equipment that we've actually bought or made or constructed or anything like that. So, if I can see it on the electronics or something else, then I know something's going on. Like we use the FLIR cameras, which are thermodynamic. And if Kim says, something grabs her leg, then I pull the FLIR out and I look at her. She's, 9,900 degrees. And then the spot she says this thing touched her is white, like her calf is white. And then it's reading about 30 degrees colder than the rest of her body. You can't fake the electronics like, something there. Or we also use like the SLS cameras, which create little stick figures. So like if you're playing your video game, it looks at you, turns you into a stick figure, and then it throws you into the game. So it does the same thing with things standing in front of it. Now, you have to watch out for the false positives, but if you have something that's, it's got a head, 2 arms, 2 legs, and a torso, and it's standing somewhere it shouldn't be, and someone else is like to the right or to the left of it, well, that's 2 people, not 1, so it's not a doubling of the image. So there's something going on there. We got a lot of good activity with that. And then, sometimes we have the EVP meters. One will go off and one will do absolutely nothing.
Darren, explain those abbreviations.
Well, the SLS camera, the easiest thing to think about it is like when you play your video games and all of a sudden you got this camera on your TV, whatever, it's looking at you. Then all of a sudden on your video game, there you are, you're moving your arms, it's back and forth. So that's all it's doing. It's projecting hundreds of little laser beams or sensors, and then when it sees something, it pulls that data back and it just turns it into an image or an avatar. So same thing with the camera. It's looking for something in front of it. As far as the EVP meters, just kind of think of them as Geiger counters. So if there's something with some hint of radioactivity, which isn't bad. I mean, everything's got some type of radiation going on with it, like Earth magnets and these types of things. So if it's sensing something, all of a sudden, it'll start blipping. And then a lot of our equipment, I take apart and I remove all the grounds. I put really good grounds in there and then put it all back together. You can put like 3 or 4 of my piece of equipment on top of each other and they don't go off.
What are grounds?
What's that?
What are grounds?
Like grounding on electrical cord. You have a negative, and then you have the positive, so the current goes in and out. And a lot of times, to make it safe, you attach a ground to it, which kind of eliminates any other frequencies or just like stray electrons. You don't get zapped. So same thing with equipment. If you buy cheap equipment, like a bad radio, you turn the station on, all of a sudden it's going,
yeah,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, it's just a bad ground. A lot of times, if you'd grab the antenna on the radio, the buzzing goes away. So you've grounded it better. So same thing with equipment. We ground them better so they don't go off falsely. A lot of these shows you see on TV, you watch what they're doing, and they've just got a couple pieces of equipment that are so close together, they're setting each other off. So they're false positives. Looks good on TV with a shiny blinking light or something that's making a noise, but it's not real. Not every place you go into, you automatically get some type of activity. We've gone to places where we've gotten nothing. So yeah, you're gonna fake it just for a show, or do it so it's real. So do it the right way.
What does Kim bring? I mean, how long has Kim been? I'll say, been able to bring things to her or be a medium, I'll call her.
So is she a medium?
No, not a medium, but a sensitive.
Sensitive, that's the word. How long has she been sensitive to be able to bring enemies or lights or
entities,
energy to her?
I would leave that one to her. She's not here, but at least 30 years.
Wow.
So there's a lot of history there that I'll let her talk about. As far as that, Kim and I have been together now about 11 years. So yeah, interesting stuff. And once again, not all people have that type of gift. I don't. If I'm scared to death of something because something is like creeping me out, that's different than something talking to me or whispering in my ear or grabbing me. Unless I bump into a stick and I think, oh no, something scratched me.
Anything grabbing me would freak the crap out of me.
Oh yeah.
I think I'd be packed and moved out already.
Right?
I mean, it's bad enough things drop or move or stuff like that.
By something grabbing her.
That's just part of life. You get used to it after a while, and you cope and you adapt, and you try to get that thing removed from you as fast as possible. We did have some fun with a news sensitive yesterday. Friend David out of the Green Bay area, actually just north of Green Bay, and once again, people do things differently, different techniques, and he had a couple of things that he did were interesting as far as removing some of that negative energy a lot of times that you end up taking back with you. Normally you try to shut down the investigation and you say your little prayer and like your chants and stuff like that to leave whatever could be possibly on you there, if you don't want to bring it back with you. And, he has a different way of doing it. So once again, you incorporate, another tool into doing something. And if it works better, great. If not, it's just like a practice. So why doctors call their business practices. Nobody's perfect, but this is what we do. The more we do it, we just keep practicing.
So the one you just met, he actually brings them home with him?
What do you mean?
You said normally before you leave the place, you like to make sure that...
We leave it where it is.
Yes. So the gentleman you met, you said he actually does it different. Does he actually...
No. He has a different technique of making sure that there's nothing attached to anybody leaving that location.
Okay. I was like, why would you want to bring it with you?
No.
No.
You could do it by accident. I did have one that attached to me for a long period of time. I actually came back from the Tupelo, Mississippi, and we called him Ed. So apparently he was a soldier with the 9th Brigade out of Minnesota, died on that battlefield down in Tupelo. So we did the research on that. And then when we were doing a shoot up in Sheboygan Falls at a place called the Fat Cow, there was another group that came in using their voice stuff in their spirit boxes. Then I told him, hey, out of curiosity, ask if there's anybody here. And then the box came back a couple seconds later, yes. And then ask it its name, or his or her name. And then must have been about a minute and a half later, clear as day, Ed.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Good for me.
That would freak the crap out of me. That would be enough for me.
Well, we've had freaky things when we've been around our kitchen table.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And all of a sudden a cold breeze will come, normally my house is hotter than hot can be, like in the night, especially at the Cold Spring Road. And then we would just take it off to being Grandma Hanson at that time. The other house. Well, we sold that one, but even a scarier house.
Hey, upward mobility.
Yes. Keeps you on your toes, I'll tell you that.
There you go.
One step ahead of the ghosts.
So do you record these, Darren? Do you record?
Yeah, I actually just got done transferring some of the footage. Anthony was shooting yesterday on his Panasonic box camera. I did a little stuff on one of my DJI cameras, and then a ton of stuff on some of the field recorders, a couple of the full spectrum cameras. So I just got done moving all that footage probably just about an hour ago. So right now I'm running at about 2 hours of sleep.
So do you share this footage, or what do you do with the footage?
Well, these are going to go into the episodes. We'll talk about them on our podcasts. And then as far as the actual video of footage and everything that we captured, those will go into the episodes for our series. It's Always an Adventure that we're going to market to Tubi. So we've just about got the pilot episode done. So the first one's going to be about an hour and 42 minutes. I think we're going to try to shave that down to under an hour and 30. And then pitch that over to Tubi and see if they like it. We get some nibbles on that. Then we'll have to scramble and start putting together, the rest of the episode. So we'll have... we did the haunted bar up in Escanaba, Michigan. I forget the name of that one. The Delft Theater. Then we had the haunted school in Glen Beulah, the bar in Sheboygan Falls. Now this house that we just did. A couple of our road trips down to Florida, the cemeteries down there, St. Louis, Nashville, and then just a couple others. So realistically, we probably have about a year's worth of episodes. So hopefully they like it and we can get her going.
I know that my young man will definitely jump on it, Billy. He watches ghost stories and all that stuff on YouTube and stuff. What is the name of your podcast?
The Professors, It's Always an Adventure.
Professors, It's Always an Adventure.
And I am an actual professor at the American College for about the last 19 years.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you so very much for sharing with us. That was really cool.
That was really interesting.
Thanks for having me. And if you guys want to do another one, we can get Kim just give me like a day's notice and
Yep.
stuff, and we can talk about, some of the things
That's
that she did.
awesome.
That would be awesome. That would be absolutely awesome.
That's
Would you like to do it sometime in April, Darren? Or would you like to do it sometime in May?
Oh, April's easy.
Okay, we have not the next week, but it would be the
20th and
no, it would be before the 20th, the week before.
Well, just have Anthony give me a holler like tomorrow, and I can look at my calendar and stuff.
all right.
Okay.
But usually the evenings are pretty good if I'm not gone somewhere.
Okay.
Okay.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do you have the last
No,
question?
no, I just tell him not hang up until he says goodbye.
Okay. Thank you for being on the Good Coronis.
Yes, thank you.
so much.
All right, thanks for having me. You guys have fun.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yep. That was absolutely awesome. Billy will definitely jump on that. Make sure you send that to me because Billy tonight will jump on his podcast immediately.
Oh, I gotta show Robert how to get on it, and I'm sure Robert will watch it too.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we have a lot of people from our podcast that jump on.
Yeah, because that was very interesting.
I hope
Like
that-
I said, he could do a whole show just on my house. Trust me.
And our podcast, I hope we get a lot of people jumping on our podcast because that was super interesting.
I was. A lot of people are like, oh, but he didn't, we got to call her.
There it is.
Hi, welcome to the Good Coronis.
So what Anthony thinks, is that okay?
That was awesome. You're still on.
Oh,
Yeah.
but the encore.
Yes.
Encore. We're
Yeah.
talking about how fun that was.
Yeah, we were actually just talking about you and how interesting that was. And I told Shannon to make sure she sends that to me because, like I said, I've got the one son, but then I've got another son that I took on. I adopted, and he's autistic, and he watches all that stuff. In fact, I think sometimes he brings that stuff into the house because of how much he watches it.
And then we have Lori, whose significant other would jump right onto your other show or podcast.
Yeah.
So we're talking about how Lori's significant other and Billy, who is the adopted son of Angel, would jump right onto your podcast. So we're talking about that. And then we're talking about how our podcast would be just got a whole lot interesting.
Yes.
So, Darren, thank you so very much for
That's awesome.
being a guest of ours. We really much appreciate it.
Darren, one more thing.
Yeah.
Tell us again the name of your podcast.
The Professors, it's always an adventure.
Okay.
Okay, Anthony.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Poor guy thought he was calling you to go back to see. Did I do okay?
Yep, you did great.
If you jump on, Darren, you did awesome. Because I think this one's going to be... I think a lot of people, once they actually see this one, they're going to be like, wow.
I can see. Well, I have it sitting quiet back here, but there's two people on right now.
Yeah.
3 with me.
And like I said, I know Billy, he's just going to jump. He's going to eat right up. He's going to be like, you would what?
And you didn't bring
we
me.
had, we had ghosts whiskers.
To being able to just post on the site, you should just post on that we had the most interesting podcast, and just not on the link, but just on the site.
So they have to go watch it.
That they have to go watch it because
It'll
we
check.
had, if they would just jump right on and listen to it, that would be awesome because we had. I mean, that was super.
That was very. Thank you, Anthony. That one was really cool, and you're right up my alley because I deal with it every single day with Danny and Billy.
There's 4, right?
Yes, yes.
We need a
and he's willing to come back on.
I know with his girlfriend,
Yeah,
wife, his wife. Well,
Okay, now I want to make
been
it.
together. Yeah.
I want to make a trip to the Dells to go see where he's located or whatever. Is it
Where is he
Dells?
located?
20 miles from the Dells.
Stevens Point.
Novell.
Well,
Novell.
So it's on the other side of.
Wisconsin Dell. But 20 minutes. Wisconsin Dell.
Oh, that's
Where
a.
you go?
Of course. Give me an.
you don't want to go see him because he won't let anybody in his house, but
Oh, I don't care. Just give me an excuse to go to the Dells.
right? He'll meet you at the
Since when do you need an excuse?
Yeah, no kidding. You just go.
I know.